part 2. So now let's just put in a couple of extra elasticities. So we can think about what information is embedded in a slope. So here we're going to imagine that we have a more steep, less responsive, if you like, supply curve. So here we have 4 and 4 as the same starting points as before. Our price is going to increase to 5 again. This time we get less responsiveness in terms of output. So our quantity is going to be 4.4 units. So using the same formula that we used up there, we can see that we now have 10% change in our quantity, and we have a 25% change in our price, which means that here our elasticity is 0.4. And then let's try the opposite extreme. So here we've got a much flatter supply curve. So again, we're going from 4 to 5. We have 4 units initially, and we get 6 units after we've increased the price. So this time our quantity change is 50%. Our price change again is 25%, which gives us an elasticity of +2. So there's information about responsiveness embedded in the slope of the curve. When we take all of the information, let's imagine that these are Angie sandwiches, Run sandwiches, and Scott sandwiches. So we put them all together, we'd end up with the industry supply of sandwiches. And we'd end up with an elasticity which is just the average across all of the suppliers of this particular good or service. So in this case, sandwiches. So you can see it looks a bit more like this one. It's more responsive than the very inelastic supply, and it's less elastic, less responsive than our very elastic supply of sandwiches. So now let's go back to the strange theoretical diagram. So the easiest thing to think about is it says if the elasticity is constant, we'll cut through kind of essentially 45 degrees. And that implies we've got what we call unit elasticity. So the change in quantity is always going to be the same as the change in price. But again, remember, it's so unlikely that anything is going to be near these intersections, because it assumes that you will produce something at a price of 0. Intuitively, it just doesn't make sense. Now up here, we saw that inelastic supply gives us